about 13 for breakfast. There was Roy's Pharmacy, that was about 15 for stuff, toothpaste and stuff. There's Universal All Services, that was about 150 for parts.
I'm curious, Dick. Why do people accept your checks? I would like to know the secret.
The secret is, people are dumb.
Very funny. You're a real comedian. Prior to November 20th, you're doing swell. And you start hanging papers all over Kansas, Texas, and New Mexico on your way here to lovely Las Vegas. Why?
Well, that'd make a book. My buddy Perry Smith wrote me a letter postmarked to Idaho. He was talking to me about this idea to go down to Mexico, buy boats, then run people deep-sea fishing.
How do you plan to pay for this boat?
Now, I'm coming to that. Perry had a sister living up in Fort Scott with some money her dad got from some property in Alaska. We're going to use that money.
You use this to buy a boat.
Correct.
But it didn't work out that way.
Well, what happened was Perry showed up maybe a month later. I met him at a bus station at Fort Scott.
When? The day of the week.
Thursday.
And when did you go to Fort Scott?
Saturday.
November 14th. What time did you leave for Fort Scott?
Around noon. Had a bowl of chili.
Around noon. Was Perry Smith's sister expecting you?
Well, no. What happened was we couldn't find her address. She didn't have a telephone.
Then how did you expect to find her?
Inquiring at the post office.
Did you?
Perry did. Turned out she moved to Oregon. She hadn't left any boarding address.
Must have been quite a blow after you expecting a big piece of money like that.
Yeah, well, we definitely decided we weren't going to Mexico because I never would have cashed them checks. Now, hear me out. I'm telling the truth. I thought once we got down to Mexico, making money, I'd be able to pay off them checks.
Hold on. Wait a minute, Dick. I would like to hear a little more about your story to Fort Scott. When you did find Perry Smith's sister, what did you do then?
Walked around, had a beer, drove back.
You mean you went home?
No, to a place called Cherry Row. How about it? I love there.
I'm sorry, where did you go again?
To a place called Cherry Row.
I don't know where that is. What is
Kansas City.
What is that place about? What's there? What do you do?
I've had a lot of luck there. There's plenty of poors, hustlers, but plenty of amateurs too.
In this particular evening, have any luck?
Bad kind. Ended up with a pair of rollers.
Name?
Mildred. The other one, Perry's, I think was called Joanne. We ended up staying at this cheap place where they sell cabins. Next morning,
What was the name of this place? Unless it is.
Hampton?
Oh, the Fun Haven, down on North Street. Okay. So what happened the next morning?
Well, they left, but they didn't take anything off of me, but Perry lost about $50.
And what did you do about it?
There wasn't nothing to do.
You could have notified the police.
Come on, quit. For your information, a gone peril is not allowed to booze.
Okay. So it is Sunday. Okay. What do you do the day you check out of the Fun Haven?
Went to the truck stop, ate breakfast. Later on that day, dropped Perry off at the hotel we were staying at. Then I had a dinner with the family, and I think there's a game of baseball or football on.
I see. When did you see Perry Smith?
Monday. He stopped at the place I was working, Bob Sands Body Shop.
What do you talk about? Mexico?
Well, still like the idea, but we didn't have the money to do it.
But you're willing to take a risk.
It seemed worth the risk.
Worth another risk and worth another stretch in Lansing?
Well, no, we weren't planning to go stateside again.
Right. So, on the day following your parole, that being the 21st, you and your friend Smith disappeared. What were your movements between there and to your arrest? been lying to us.
I've been telling you the goddamn truth.
Now and then, not always. What about Fort Scott? You say you went there to find Harry's sister.
Yes.
Okay, and you wanted to obtain her location and address?